So what we're doing is we're taking these functions, combining them together in some way, adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. All right, now if you see this notation that looks like this, f plus g of x, that simply means to take the function f and add it to the function g. And so remember, most of these functions we're going to be putting together are polynomials, so really when you're adding, you're just finding the things that are alike and putting them together, so combining like terms. The same thing happens with subtraction. All right, multiplying will be like multiplying polynomials, where you take whatever's in the first parentheses times whatever's in the second parenthesis, combine like terms later. And then dividing, mostly we just simplify that. Okay, so let's look down here at a couple of these problems. All right, so we have f of x is 3x minus 4, and then g of x is 2x squared minus 1. And we're going to perform add, subtract, multiply, and divide with each of them. All right, now, if you notice that in each of these problems, it says f plus g of some number. All right, so what that's telling me is I'm going to plug in this number in place of my variable, which happens to be x. So f plus g of 0, we can actually work a couple of ways. We can say f of 0 plus g of 0, and then we'll find what is the value of f when x is 0 and what is the value of g when x is 0. Or you can do f plus g and then add in 0 later. So I'll show you both ways. All right, so we'll do this way first, f of 0 plus g of 0. So I'm going to find f of 0. Here is f, 3x minus 4, so I fill in 0. And that'll be 0 minus 4 is negative 4. All right, then g of 0 would be, come over here to the g function, and everywhere there's an x, we're going to put a 0 in its place. So 0 squared is 0, times 2 is 0, minus 1 makes negative 1. All right, now I just want to take these two values, f and g, and add them together. So f plus g of 0 would be the f value, negative 4, plus the g value, negative 1, which would give me negative 5. All right, now if you do it the other way, where you take just the two functions, so I'm going to come and do f plus g of 0. I'm going to take the function f, 3x minus 4, and then I'm going to add to it the function g. So add to that 2x squared minus 1. All right, then I simply combine like terms, 2x squared plus 3x minus 5. Then everywhere there's an x, I'll put a 0 and simplify. All right, and so this 2 times 0 squared is 0, plus another 0, minus 5 gives me negative 5. All right, so notice that it doesn't matter which method you go with, you're going to get the same answer. So here I inserted the 0 into each function separately and then added their values together. Over here I combined the functions together first, and then I inserted the value for x. Okay, so you pick which way you like better, right? And just stick with it. All right, for f minus g of 4, I'm going to find f of 4, and I'm going to subtract from it g of 4. So f of 4 would be 3 times 4 minus 4. 12 minus 4 is 8. G of 4, right, here's my g, 2x squared minus 1. So in place of x, I'm going to put a 4. All right, so in place of x, I put 4, so 4 squared is 16, times 2 is 32, minus 1 makes 31. So 4 squared is 16, times 2 is 32, minus 1 is 31. All right, now I'm going to come over here and say f minus g of 4 is 8, that's f, and then minus g, which is 31, would give me negative 23. Alright, if you were going to do it the other way, you have to be careful here when you say f minus g. So when you do f, 3x minus 4, you're subtracting the entire g. So make sure you do minus and put 2x squared minus 1 in parentheses. Right, because you're subtracting the entire g. So 3x minus 4 minus 2x squared and plus 1. Okay, so minus the entire g function. That would give me negative 2x squared plus 3x and then minus 3. And so then I fill in the value 4. Everywhere there's an x. Alright, we calculate that out, so that'll be negative 32 plus 12 minus 3. Negative 35 plus 12 makes negative 23. Alright, so notice, same answer no matter which method we use. Alright, so for f times g of negative 2, I can find f of negative 2 and g of negative 2. So f of negative 2 would be 3 times negative 2 minus 4. Alright, which would give me negative 10. And then g of negative 2. Make sure if you put this in your calculator, you put that negative in your parentheses before you square it. So that would be negative 2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8 minus 1 is 7. Then to find fg, and that's f times g of negative 2, I'll say negative 10 times 7 is negative 70. Alright, lastly, I want to find f divided by g of 3. So for this, I simply, sometimes it's easier, let me just do it this way, the way I've been doing it. So I'll find f of 3, and I'm going to divide it by g of 3. So f of 3 would be 3 times 3 minus 4, 9 minus 4, which is 5. Okay, then for g of 3, I'll fill in a 3 everywhere there's an x. So that'll be, let's see, 9 times 2 is 18, minus 1 leaves 17.